It's amazing where I would go. Wherever I set course records, that's where I'd be. I used to shoot pool really well when I had a great buzz going. A man who single-handedly threw away $55 million, enough money to buy an entire island, into Las Vegas casinos, just to chase a thrill. A giant who drinks Diet Coke and whiskey instead of water, considers cigarettes a source of oxygen, and has smashed countless sets of golf clubs in fits of rage. According to every conventional logic regarding the downfall of stars, John Daly should have been a destitute, lonely old man sinking deep into regret over a past of wasteful spending. But no, entering his 60s, that legendary bad boy is living a life that even Wall Street billionaires must secretly envy. Not imprisoning himself in cold castles with high walls and gated entries, he chose absolute freedom in a special mobile mansion, roaming every corner of American roads. He's no longer the drunkard of yesteryear, but a sharp business tycoon with a booming cocktail and fashion empire, and he's even making a brilliant return to the silver screen in a blockbuster movie. What truly lifted the lion from the darkest mud of the past to stand at the peak of fame as he does today? Let's step onto John Daly's bus to discover that special secret. Turning 60 this year, John Daly is no longer the wild blonde-haired youth with the oversized backswing that once shook the sports world in the 90s. If you look at him now with his white beard, characteristic big belly, and a cigarette always perched on his lip, you might mistake him for a retired old man struggling with life after the limelight. But the reality is completely the opposite. John Daly at this moment is a smoothly operating money-printing machine. A sharp businessman hidden behind a disheveled and devil-may-care appearance. He doesn't possess shiny trophies that are polished every day. Instead, he owns a brand bearing his own name, a name even more valuable than his swings. To understand how a man who admitted to burning his entire fortune in casinos could rise up and live prosperously today, we must go back to the starting point where it all began. John Daly was not born into privilege, nor did he grow up in luxurious country clubs like most other professional golfers. He was born in 1966 in California but grew up in Dardanelle, a small town in Arkansas, where golf was considered a luxury sport. His family belonged to the working class. His father was a construction engineer and his mother was a housewife. Daly's golf career began in a very grassroots manner. He didn't have a private coach or expensive custom-fitted clubs. He learned to play golf by mimicking his idol Jack Nicklaus on TV and practicing on his own at cheap public courses. Because he didn't go through formal schooling, Daly developed a unique swing with an extremely large amplitude, the club going way past his head, creating a terrifying hitting force that people later called the grip it and rip it style. The name John Daly truly exploded and became a global phenomenon in 1991 at the PGA Championship. The story of that year is still told like a modern fairy tale. Daly was then just an unknown golfer, the ninth alternate, and was only allowed to participate in the tournament at the last minute when others withdrew. He had to drive through the night to make it in time for the tee time, had no practice round, and hired a caddy who was equally unknown. Yet that country boy with the golden mullet defeated all the top stars in the world to be crowned champion. That victory turned him from a zero to a hero overnight, bringing him fame and the first huge prize money of his life. He continued to affirm his innate talent with the Open Championship victory in 1995 at the hallowed grounds of St. Andrews, defeating Costantino Rocca in a dramatic playoff. However, Daly's talent on the course always came with a chaotic private life. In terms of income from golf, he earned over $10 million in prize money from official tournaments throughout his career, not a small number, but a drop in the bucket compared to his spending speed. Daly was a gambling addict in the literal sense. He once publicly admitted in his autobiography that he had incinerated about $55 to $57 million in casinos. There were nights after receiving a championship check worth hundreds of thousands of dollars when he drove straight to Las Vegas and burned all that money at the blackjack table in just a few hours. There was a period when people thought John Daly was bankrupt, destitute, and would end his life in poverty. But the strange thing is that John Daly never truly died financially. On the contrary, the older he gets, the better he becomes at making money. His current wealth does not come from playing golf but from the business of his personal brand. He realized that the American public loved him not because he was a perfect athlete but because he was a flawed, authentic, and relatable human being. He's the representative of the common working class, those who like to drink beer, eat barbecue, and live liberally. Grasping this psychology, Daly turned himself into a brand. His biggest source of income today comes from brand licensing contracts. Most notable is the Loudmouth golf clothing line. The long pants with floral, colorful, and gaudy patterns that Daly wears every time he goes on the course have become an icon. He's not just a model, he's a shareholder and the soul of this brand. Anyone who wants to stand out on the golf course seeks to buy John Daly style pants, and every pair sold puts money in his pocket. Besides fashion, Daly also entered the beverage sector. Everyone knows the famous cocktail named John Daly. he wisely partnered to produce the canned Good Boy vodka line and teas bearing his name. This product sells like hotcakes at supermarkets across America thanks to his folksy image. Additionally, he owns the John Daly Steakhouse chain serving large steaks true to his taste. Most recently, he signed a representation contract with the golf club company Crank Golf, specializing in drivers for long hitters, and participated in the Cameo platform, where fans pay to receive video greetings from him. Just recording birthday wish videos for fans brings him hundreds of thousands of dollars each year. If you type John Daly's name into Google Maps to find his home address, you likely won't find a fixed castle with gold-plated iron gates or fortified security fences like other sports stars. Instead, his most accurate address is often found on a license plate. In his 60s, when most successful men want to settle down in a large villa, John Daly chose the life of a modern nomad. His most expensive, most comfortable, and most beloved home is not on the ground but rolls on 6 giant rubber tires along the highways of America. He calls it the bus, but in reality, it's a luxury mobile supervilla by Prevost, the most expensive recreational vehicle line in the world. This vehicle has an estimated value of $1.5 to $2 million, depending on the custom-made interior details. For Daly, this is not a means of transportation but his main residence. Inside that shiny metal shell is a lavish living space that would overwhelm anyone who steps aboard. The floor is paved with marble or precious wood instead of ordinary carpet. The seats are upholstered in premium leather, soft and smooth like first-class seats on an airplane. The vehicle can expand its area to both sides whenever it parks, creating a spacious living room enough for him to host small parties with friends. The reason Daly chooses to live on the bus instead of in 5-star hotels is very simple and practical. He hates the feeling of lugging suitcases in and out of hotel lobbies, hates sleeping on strange beds that thousands of others have lain on. When not roaming on tours, he returns to his base in Dardanelle, Arkansas. This is what he calls home in the traditional sense. This property is located near the Lion's Den Golf Club, a golf course owned and operated by himself. The house in Arkansas doesn't bear the flashy, magnificent Hollywood style but carries a bold country, rustic, and cozy quality, reflecting his southern roots. The house sits on a spacious campus looking straight out onto a calm lake. This is where Daly seeks silence after the noise of the crowds. The interior of the house is quite cluttered but full of memories. It's where he keeps things that cannot be carried on the bus, from old sets of golf clubs and family photos to gifts sent by fans. If you step into John Daly's living room or private entertainment area, you won't find glass cabinets displaying hundreds of expensive Swiss watches or confusing abstract oil paintings that the super-rich often race to collect to show class. John Daly is not someone who likes fake sophistication or shiny jewelry just for show. His most precious, most passionate collection with the greatest spiritual value to him is his guitars. John Daly loves music, sometimes he even loves it more than golf. In the music room at his private home in Arkansas, he reserves the most honored positions to hang dozens of guitars of all kinds, from stylish electric guitars to rustic acoustic guitars. These are not guitars bought at a normal instrument store. Most of them are limited editions or unique gifts. You'll see vintage Sunburst Gibson Les Pauls, legendary Fender Stratocasters, and expensive Martin acoustic guitars with warm tones. The value of this collection lies in their provenance. John Daly has extremely close relationships with many top rock and country music stars in America. Many guitars in his collection have fresh signatures from legends like Kid Rock, members of the band Hootie and the Blowfish, or Willie Nelson. Most special are the guitars designed specifically for him, meticulously painted with the lion head logo, Daly's personal brand symbol, or with his name inlaid with mother of pearl on the fretboard. For Daly, These guitars are not lifeless display items. He actually plays them, and plays very well. He has released 2 country music albums titled My Life and I Only Know One Way, with songs composed and performed by himself. The lyrics often tell of his turbulent life, of alcohol, of divorces, and of the loneliness of the man behind the halo. To have the hearty laugh and the carefree demeanor we see in John Daly today, he had to pay an extremely high price paid with his own money, reputation, and health. Behind the colorful floral pants and powerful drives is a life full of deep, indelible scars. The biggest, most haunting, and cruelest dark corner in the life of the bad boy is the colossal figure, 55 million. This is not the money he earned but the money he threw out the window in casinos. In his shocking autobiography, John Daly bravely admitted this naked truth. During his youth, when prize money from tournaments and sponsorship money poured in like water, he did not invest in real estate or stocks like other wise colleagues. Instead, he sought thrills at blackjack tables and slot machines with the highest stakes in the world. He recounted that there were slot machines that swallowed up to 5,000 for a single spin. He could sit there for hours, burning through a fortune that a normal person takes a lifetime to earn, just to seek a brief moment of euphoria. There's a famous story that the golf world still whispers about Daly's recklessness and loss of control. After he won a major tournament in San Francisco, receiving a prize check of $750,000, instead of going home to celebrate with his family, he drove straight to Las Vegas. Within just 5 short hours sitting at the card table, he lost a clean $1.65 million. But the biggest, most terrifying challenge John Daly faces right now does not come from casinos or courts but from the hospital. He's battling bladder cancer. This disease was discovered in 2020 and has become a persistent battle eroding the health of the lion. John Daly has had to undergo multiple surgeries to remove tumors along with periodic chemotherapy sessions. Doctors warn that this disease has a very high recurrence rate, forcing him to live with it for the rest of his life. Cancer changed Daly's view of life but did not make him lose his inherent humorous optimism. He did not choose to mope or cry. He faced it with an attitude practical to the point of nakedness. He admitted that his unhealthy lifestyle in the past, continuous smoking, drinking dozens of cans of Diet Coke a day instead of water, and all-night drinking parties contributed to this condition. Although he has tried to change, reducing strong liquor and cigarettes, he confessed that it's very difficult to completely quit habits ingrained in his blood for 40 years. He chose to live happily with the days he has left. Many people often assume that when an athlete turns 60, that's the time they should hang up their sword, retreat to the garden to take care of bonsai, and enjoy old age. But for John Daly, the concept of retirement seems not to exist in his life dictionary. The biggest focus of media and fan attention for John Daly during this time is his appearance in the hit movie project named Happy Gilmore 2. After years of speculation, the sequel to the classic golf comedy starring Adam Sandler has become a reality. John Daly, with his wild personality and one-of-a-kind style in real life, is considered the most perfect piece for this work. The greatest pride and longest-term project of John Daly is his son, John Daly II, affectionately known as Little John.